we'll shift to the Bonnie Matthews Brock's Red Leaves picture. So that was our cover image for issue 11 in November. So if you've seen the issue, you would have seen that image. So yeah, why did you select that one? And then we'll kind of go around and add a thought or two.
I actually did make a print out of it. I don't know if you guys can see it. I think that's helpful, right? Like this, okay?
Yep.
So look at it. This really looks pretty good, right? It's a very nice image. No wonder you picked it for the cover image. I mean, it's very, very, it really spoke to me, and I think it's very well done, and it has also a lot of beauty to it as well. So one of the things that I liked about it, I'm trying to kind of position it in a way so you guys can see it. Okay, what I liked about it is, in a way, it's a photograph. Okay, I'm a painter. I'm a fine artist. I'm a painter. So, but I do appreciate all forms of art, and I've taken photography, so I know a lot of things that the photographers go through. But with this one, what I liked about it, so it's rather than, let's say, having a regular photograph, just like a snapshot of something that you see from life. Basically, photography is like freezing something that you see in life and putting in an image, you know, finger, you know. So it's technology too, right? Photography. With this one, I felt that the photographer went a little bit beyond just like a regular photo, and kind of wanted to make it look a little bit more. It veers more towards fine art, or more a visual artistry to it. So I think that's why I picked it. I felt that it went beyond the obvious regular photo, or just a well done photo, and it kind of gave you this feel of mistiness, mysteriousness, but also very limited color palette, which makes it more effective, by the way, in this case. So the feelings that I got out of it is like, as if, let's say, you're waking up from a nap and you're looking outside of the window, and there's some trees, and maybe your eyes are still kind of blurry from the nap, and you're looking out and things look blurry. So that's what I liked about it. It's like that kind of look of your inside looking outside. So I thought that perspective, the angle perspective, is very good. So in a way, by the photographer doing that, I don't know if she took it, I'm thinking she was inside looking outside. And I think usually that perspective is very interesting for me in general, and even in art, when you're like Matisse, for example. Matisse did a lot of paintings where he's inside of his apartment, looking outside to the French Riviera, painting what he saw. So, but it's always nice to see like the inside outside kind of perspective and look. What I also liked about it, again, kind of goes back to that, how we see it. It looks like this mistiness, this blurriness, looks like also you can be looking from behind the curtain, like a white stash curtain, okay? So things are not really clear. And I think that adds more to the beauty of the mysteriousness and the beauty and the simplicity of this piece, and making it very soft and visually pleasing to look at. The limited color palette, the fact that it's a tree, again, going back to trees. So, and a beautiful tree that you can, the color is really nice too. It has embodies a little bit of more of the autumn kind of like reddish tones. So kind of falls nicely within fall. Yeah, overall, I think it's very well done. So I can see where visually it grabbed you when you said, okay, I think this is really should be on the cover. So yeah, I really like it. It just gives a very nice feel. And one can, again, use their imagination as well, that it's behind something, or again, maybe it's underwater, or maybe it's behind a window that's been rained on a lot. That's a good possibility as well. So things are losing crispness and clarity. So it's more like you see fuzziness, or you see more of a blur. And usually that's a beautiful look also for photography. I've noticed a lot of photographers do try to capture things behind, let's say, like within the rain, or behind windows that are full of rain. So you'll end up with a very crystallized kind of look. So technique-wise, it's very good. And overall, I think it's just a very effective work of art.
Thanks.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, Erin, but I think you and I can both relate to the subjective feeling of looking through a window a pane of glass with rain coming down, just in reference to the refractory quality. And also, if you imagine that scene in a movie, you're kind of combining what it literally looks like. And of course, anytime a scene like that happens in a movie where somebody's staring through a pane of glass with rain coming down, there's this combination of sadness, but also complexity and the obscuring of reality. So I love that idea that that could be one very literal thing that also has this refractory quality that works psychologically as well as visually.
Yeah, and I love that it didn't occur to me, believe it or not, being inside looking out with this image didn't occur to me. So yeah, it makes perfect sense. And I really love the curtain idea, or kind of the veil, almost like it is kind of a, when you get that little bit of distortion, blurring. And it was just for me, just such a familiar image, in the sense that I've made these types of images. Like, this is kind of what, it's just such like a part of like what I'm interested in. It's almost like too close, for me to even maybe talk about too much, because it's just such a natural fit for like what I'm interested in. So, like, having said that, I'm kind of have a high degree of bias with this piece. I'm just in favor of it from the kind of just everything you said. Just the kind of distorted view of a familiar, thing, tree, losing its leaves, but it's done in such kind of that twisted kind of way that it's just immediately for me just appealing. And turns out comes around for our November issue, right? So it wouldn't quite, it probably wouldn't be the best cover for June, July, but for, as we kind of hit on the seasonal themes, as we do, that's what tends to happen, oddly enough. So yeah, love that. And any other thoughts? We did a bunch already. I don't know if you have anything.
Yeah, I've mentioned one little thing, which is that I think a little bit of what you were saying is it's like the familiar and an unfamiliar telling. And I think what was really powerful for me was, not to hop on the tension, but the contrasts in the different sections, where there are some areas where it's kind of like clear to see, and then other areas where it's obscured, and it kind of alternates. And I think as your eye goes across, you're almost like forced to shift perspective a few different times. Even though what you're seeing is something that you're not quite sure how to understand it. And that kind of like unsettling viewing experience of something familiar is fun and a little bit creepy, in an autumnal kind of way.
I did contact Bonnie. She was kind enough to respond in short notice. So it was not quite an inside looking out in the literal sense, but kind of an odd connection. She said she shot this photo at the entrance to a trail to the Stone Fort Boulders field in Soddy Daisy, Tennessee, near Chattanooga. So a little bit of an inside, or looking in, an entrance, approaching the trail. She said, "I love visiting boulder fields and love photographing in nature, and the boulderers and climbers too." She has another image in this issue. That one was shot actually at Yosemite Park. But she said in both cases, in both of her images that appear in the issue, some time alone while my husband was rock climbing. Often I want to return a second and sometimes even a third time to a place I've photographed. This time on my own gives me the opportunity to photograph something I wished I'd shot somehow differently or under different conditions, and or to include more or less context within the image. And when I'm on my own, I can take as long as I want to take as many shots of the same thing as I want without impacting the experience of anyone else. Which, yeah, if anybody's been maybe hiking with a camera, you can maybe have that experience when the other person doesn't have a camera or anything else to do other than keep on walking. So yeah, so that was kind of that sense of revisiting a place. And then the experimentation is there too, kind of testing this way, that way. And she doesn't mention kind of overlaying multiple images to get this finished piece. I'm guessing it appears that's something that's going on also, but that's not from Bonnie's words. That's just kind of my impression. It just kind of appears that way. I don't know if it's actually multiple images or just has the appearance of that, but yeah, I think that's a nice summary of that one. So thanks.